Messaging, what's happening with messaging, which obviously has always been an integral part of the VAS market. So we're going to be touching on OTT apps and also RCS. So we've got 3 presentations and then a quick panel session at the end. So first up is Andreas Constantinides, and he's from Yuboto, and he's going to talk a little bit about OTT apps, I think. Over to you.
Yeah. Hello, this is Andreas Constantinides from Yuboto. We're going to talk about the OTTs today. I have 10 minutes, so I have to be very fast and very effective. I suppose that most of you are here in order to hear things about RCS, right? There is no news about RCS, guys, really trust me. Okay, there's many people in order to tell you that this is really happening. However, let me introduce Yuboto in 30 seconds. So Yuboto is a Greek Tier 1 telecommunication provider. We're dealing with wholesaler retail voice, wholesaler retail SMS. We have a leadership in Greece concerning the messaging because we are doing it since, I don't know, forever, 14 almost year ago. And we are also a development house, and since 2015 we have more than 30 awards concerning customer experience and technology. This is it about Yuboto. I'm not going to say something more. So concerning the OTTs, you know that the messaging stuff is changing because all of these services that are coming into our phones, and you know, the messaging of peer-to-peer messaging is dead since I don't know how many years ago. We don't send SMS to each other anymore, WhatsApp or with Viber, right? So here is let's say a map. You can see that WhatsApp is the biggest community. Facebook Messenger, you know that these 2 things belong to the same person. So Viber, WeChat, and all of this stuff. And no matter the territory, every territory has its own OTT. For example, in Greece, in Balkan, and in Russia, we have Viber, which is really very successful. But if you ask an English guy about Viber, they don't have any idea. Okay? In China, they have WeChat, and this is how it works. So let's start to say some things about Viber. Viber was the first disruptor. In fact, it was the first OTT that opened the API to the companies in order to have the ability to send messages. So the big strength parts is the first game changer, great expectation, more than 1 billion users, great expectation, rich content, and nice reporting, best messaging price. That was the good stuff. What's the bad stuff? Retail service under wholesaler rules, which is really very pain in the ass for the retailers. Tricky and respectless commercial policy. They change the commercial policy today for tomorrow because they can, okay? Many Russian Balkans, spammer best friends, high blocking rate from the consumer, okay? They block. So, just press an enter here because it doesn't work. Let's see the messenger. Okay, everybody's having Facebook here. Suppose messenger is, okay, it's the second biggest, 1.2 billion rich content, easy access for consumer, only for store pages holders. You know, you must be in Facebook and to have an account there in order to use it. Undecided application policy, undecided commercial policy, extremely strict guidelines, and API change without any notice because it's Facebook and they can. Let's see one back, please. Yes, the RCS. Okay, it's a full of expectation service, but really nothing happening yet. The plus is just from Google, but this is also the minus, that is Google. The biggest community in Android, rich content, already popular in a few countries, LATAM, let's say. Samsung announced that the next models are going to have the RCS application inside. It's the same with the messaging. So Google, I had a conversation about 10 days ago in Madrid with somebody, very experienced guy in messaging. And he told me that he believes that RCS is going to be the Waterloo of Google, like it was the Google Plus. Because yes, we believe that it's Google and they're going to make it right, but they don't make it everything right, and it seems really very confused. So the bad thing is the mobile operators, that they have to be inside the program in order to have the ability to give the message. Confused and blurry commercial policy, too many players involved, slow procedures. This is what's happening with RCS. WhatsApp. I found out recently that in order to have a WhatsApp account, sender ID, you need €2,000, almost €2,000, and the price per message is going to be 7 cents. I mean, really? Are they dealing with messaging? 7 cents. I don't think that there's a price in SMS that costs 7 cents. Okay? So, in fact, it's the biggest mobile application, rich content, easy access, for few players. They want to have only the big players. They want to have KLM, they want to have Lufthansa, they want to have this kind of players that are international. They are not interested for smaller, let's say smaller, for Max and Spencer International, because Max and Spencer has the Facebook. You know how it goes? So tricky commercial policy, extremely strict guidelines, wholesale rules versus retail needs. This is another one problem. I'm telling you how the story goes by the retail side, okay? Landing pages, okay, it's for the companies that they use it already. I'm not gonna say a lot of things about that. It's it's the way to send rich messaging now via a simple SMS. So I don't know if you're aware. And of course, the SMS itself, which is still the king. It's the biggest mobile community, everywhere accessible, effective, and easy, still growing. This is the guy that he believes that it's still growing, but I believe so too, because I see it. And the minus, I was talking about you. And the minus price, the price is still high. Quality, especially in wholesale, and the limited content, 160 characters. So, I have 3 more things to tell you, and I think that I'm done. Concerning the SMS in Europe, it has a big problem with GDPR. Are you aware of GDPR? So many people, they said, I don't want to have a message from you. But now they are building their reputation again. Okay, the companies are starting collecting new data. So in Greece, we have a 9% decrease the last 2 months. Now we are also equal the same. That means the SMS is really, really very hard player. So the price and the quality is 2 things that are very important for the SMS in order to continue to be like this. And what is the most important for the marketeers nowadays, is the ability to have one platform, one access, one gateway in order to talk with their customers, no matter if it's SMS or Viber or WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, or this is what it goes. That the omnipresence is already here. You know, they need to log on in one system and then to have them all. And I'm gonna close by this in order to advertise my company. Okay, Yuboto presents Octopus. Octopus, at this specific time, it's the most ultimate platform for the marketeers, because it provides all the possible channels, SMS and all the rest, okay? Plus newsletters, and shortly they're going to have also access to Instagram and to this kind of stuff. That means that the marketer is gonna have one login, and then he's gonna have the whole messengers in his hand. So if you have any question, I'm very happy to assist you.
We'll do some questions at the end, Andreas, okay? So
Okay.
we'll do questions at the end.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. So next up, we have a little bit more on the RCS market. And we're going to hear from Vladimir Mitic from, you are from Macrokiosk.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming for this last session. It's been a long day, so I'm really grateful for you to coming here. As Tim said, my name is Vladimir Mitic. I'm the regional manager of Macrokiosk, and allow me to shortly present my company before going into some examples and comparison of SMS use cases with RCS. So Macrokiosk is a digital technology company that we use and lean mobile technology in order to allow our businesses, our clients, to engage more with their consumers and allow them to have better value for them and better experience. So company was founded in the year 2000 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but after that, since then, we've spread to 13 more countries where we have 250 people that serve more than 2,000 clients that we have. So when we talk about our solutions, mostly we are focusing around 4 areas. One would be notifications, engagement, payments, and security. So far we've been using different technologies to achieve success in these 4 areas. Notifications, that's what probably we're talking here today mostly. So this is more information of our platform. Where we use, originally we've been using only SMS, but now as the times are changing and new technologies are available, we're also adding different channels in order to allow our clients to send notifications, whether it is some promotion, flight changes, or bank transactions. So SMS is still the main channel, but we're trying to lower our clients' cost by using push notifications, email, and always SMS is a fallback in case none of those is available. And soon we will be adding other OTT messaging platforms. And as your previous speaker said, WeChat, Line are more attractive in Southeast Asia, so we will be adding them first, and of course WhatsApp and Viber probably at later stage. We also have some new products that I won't be talking too much today because we don't have much time, but basically, as I said, 4 areas where we can do, you can add more technologies, like for example, let me just shortly say for security, 2-factor authentication. Previously we used only SMS, but now we are adding additional options to our clients, like QR code, token authentication through the applications, and things like that. And most of the people that know me from before, they are aware of our payments division and our carrier billing we were discussing this morning. So moving on to those use cases that I was mentioning in the beginning. First off, I'll be talking about SMS. So I will show 2 of our clients and the way they're using SMS at the moment. First will be Gojek. Gojek is a ride-sharing company from Indonesia. They were the first ones to introduce rides with motorbikes. I know in Europe it might look strange, but whoever was stuck in Jakarta for 2 hours driving for 2 kilometers know why they gained success in such a quick manner. So they're using SMS for as a safety feature. So every time you log in from a new device, they will send you an SMS to tell you that someone is trying to log in using your account, your credentials. So I have another company after this who is in the same business but using SMS in a totally different manner. So this is like other players, like Google is using mail to inform you that your account has been logged in from a different device, something like that. So this use case is I mean, already common in the world, but they're using SMS as a channel to inform this. Then, okay. So GrabCar is also a car sharing company originating from Malaysia. They are the biggest Uber competitor in that area, and then in Malaysia recently they bought off totally Uber as so now they're the only player in Malaysian market, but also spread around Southeast Asia in other countries. So in Indonesia they're working with us in 2 models. One is for the users. So in similar manner as other OTT messaging applications use SMS to verify the mobile number, GrabCar is using this to verify the user's mobile number upon registration. So user will receive SMS as a part of app installation, and only after the number is verified they're able to use the application. So here they are showing how their user experience is. Users can select where they're heading, where is their location. They will book for a driver, and and the driver will arrive to their location, pick them up, and they can also share their drive experience with their family and friends to make sure that they have safely arrived. As for the driver side, they don't use it as an authentication of the number, but they use it as a channel to inform their drivers of the documentation and steps required in order to finalize their registration process. So they can go on the website, key in their details, but only after they physically deliver all this, like license number, all these things, as it's in Bahasa, Indonesia. So I also don't know what all it is, but yeah, they have some requirements that they require the user to provide before they are officially a driver. So this is how their perspective looks like. Driver is receiving a job, then they go accept the booking, pick up the passenger, and yeah, leave him at the location where desires. So this was two simple examples of how we are using SMS to help our clients in various ways. So after this, we have connected to Google in Malaysia, and we are enabling, or we already enabled RCS to our clients. So I will show you some use cases that how, in comparison to SMS, that as was previously said, is just a text-based service. Now we'll have more opportunities for our merchants to engage with their clients even more. So yeah, the process of getting everything was quite tedious and took long months to negotiate with Google and everything to test the platform. But then finally, now we had a first partner that will be using RCS through Macrokiosk. It's a company called Team Codex that gamifies the trainings and how to say, yeah, company trainings, educations, all the things. They're making it more interesting. So they're now creating their trainings. They're part of their products will be using through RCS. So they're still in the middle of creating this. So I don't have their example, but I have another example that we pitched to another fashion company in Malaysia. So that's Melium Group. They are distributing a lot of fashion brands in Malaysia. So we pitched this idea to them, and they're now considering to use us. So how this would look like is they would broadcast some discount code to all their database, and then within the RCS message itself, there are a few options for the consumer. So first, they can go directly to the website to find out more, but they can find the nearest store. So within the same environment, they will click find the nearest store. Then we will show them where the nearest location where they can use their discount is located, and then combining it with our Grab car client, we can get them to directly order a car to their location and take them there. So this is all happening within the same environment, so they can select what is the most appropriate location for them, and then they will get a ride and directly go to the shop and buy using the discount. So in comparison to just sending pins and textual information, this looks more promising. Then the next, I think this is a global use case where Pizza Hut is just giving example how they can also motivate the impulsive orders of their clients and sending them the discount codes again, and they can order directly inside the message. They can choose which payment methods they want to use, so let's say cash on demand, and then they're going to ask them about location. They're going to add new locations, send everything, and the pizza will be on their way. Together also they will get the number of the driver so that they can communicate with him once he reaches their location. So yeah, as you can see, those, I mean, RCS gives us a lot more opportunity, but we have to see how it's going to work out in practice. So in Malaysia, we are pushing this to our clients, and hopefully next year we can talk here with more real live examples. That's all from me now. Yeah, we're going to have questions later.
Yeah,
thank you.
So still on the RCS topic, Nick Lane does know more about RCS than anyone in this show. He'll kill anyone who challenges him, and he goes to bed at night and he sleeps and he dreams about RCS. Is that correct, Nick?
pretty much.
Yeah. So he's written tons and researched tons on this market, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it now. Thanks.
Ooh. Okay. Hello, everyone. Last presentation. So I'm Nick, work for Mobilesquared. We'll fly through this. You don't need to see this. This is about us. That's the company, the countries that we cover in depth, 200 markets, split out by mobile operator. Stuff about the A2P SMS marketplace. The market is worth about $12 billion last year, rising to 26.6 billion in 2022. Significantly lower than everyone else forecasts, but that's what we believe the market is, and in our mind, we're right. So, with that in mind, I'm going to fly through this. It's going to be a real RCS brain dump, but alcohol is calling. So, right, we'll start some enterprise research findings. So this is based on enterprise based in Western Europe and the US. So we asked these people, what channels do you use to communicate to your customers? On the far left, you've got email at 95%. You've got Facebook, 73%. Obviously, they use a website. But then you've got SMS here at 33%. And what we also did was throw in a new channel called RCS somewhere. I can't see it. Anyway, it's on there. So based on this piece of research, about 12% of companies said that they would use RCS based on how we described it in part of our research. So then we asked them, where would you envision your company using RCS? And again, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't really see this. But typically 55% said they use it for marketing and promotions. That's very much kind of the low-hanging fruit for RCS. But when they started to think about it, they would use it for internal communications, company alerts, company updates to customers, and customer support. Customer support is going to be a really, 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 really big area for RCS. If you started using RCS, how likely is it for your company to use a chatbot? I don't know how familiar you all are with RCS, but typically what we're going to end up seeing is it's just going to be using chatbots to communicate with customers. So what we have here on the left, very likely, so we've got about a third are very likely to use chatbots, a third aren't sure, and a third are unlikely. So again, there's a fair bit amount of work and education from the industry, whoever's going to push RCS out, they need to do to educate the enterprise about the benefits. So just coming back onto why there's a benefit with RCS, for example, in customer support. So if we assume that there are 1,000 calls made, the average call lasts 10 minutes, and each call costs $1 per minute. Therefore, each customer support call would cost, to an agent, to a call center, would cost $10. So the cost, what's going on, Tim? I'm not touching anything. Is it clearly telling me to hurry up? So anyway, for a call center to deal with 1,000 calls would cost $10,000. For RCS via a chatbot to deal with 1,000 inquiries will cost about $50. So it's a saving of about 99.95%. So it's pretty huge, providing it works effectively. So what kind of impact do you think it will have on your marcoms? 50% think it will, RCS will become more effective than other channels that they currently use. So consumer research. Here's the 12%. I knew it was somewhere. So in terms of which channels would you like brands to communicate with you? Again, you've got your obvious ones. You've got 59% here, email, phone call 39%, SMS is in third, 22%. And then, as we described, this new channel, RCS, which is actually, in the eyes of the consumer, more popular than Facebook at 8%, Facebook Messenger at 7%, Twitter at 4%. So again, it kind of shows people using Facebook. People using Facebook don't really want to be communicated via Facebook, even though, for example, 2/3 of pretty much, I think, mobile advertising spend globally is on Facebook. So basically what this slide shows is that although right now, when we ask people about RCS, 12% roughly, or depending on which survey we use, could be 12, 14%. What we actually show when we actually get into deeper bits of the research and start talking to the consumers about it, in actual fact, around about 54%, 52, 54% of consumers want or will want to use RCS, providing it works, it's cross-network, etc. But that's not something that we have to share with consumers right now. But that's the point. There's demand is there as a channel. There you go. 53% of consumers would use RCS. So why would you use RCS? So in terms of letting the brand contact you, it's primarily be viewed as a customer service tool, supported then by kind of marketing and promotions in terms of redeeming a voucher, receiving discounts, etc. In terms of why you want to be contacted by a brand, it's customer service, center of voucher promotions, it's pretty much the same thing. That's really where the uptake of RCS is really going to come from a brand perspective, from a consumer perspective. Oh. So the other thing, and the other really important thing, and this is actually from a different piece of research that we're doing around customer engagement, customer support for a client, is understanding how long people actually want to engage with brands. Because one of the things that's actually happening with RCS is that once you engage with chatbot, you're going to open a session. So how long is that session? How many messages are included in that session? And I'm not going to go into that, but the key thing here is that when you actually talk to consumers about how long they actually want to engage, it's less than 10 minutes. And what we're now seeing as we're in, kind of the now economy, people want things resolved. They either want to buy things, do things, get answers. They want it now. So anyone taking longer than now is in danger of really basically pissing off that consumer. If you take more than 10 minutes, chances are you've lost that consumer. So anything longer than 10 minutes could be very damaging to that relationship that you've built up with your consumer. So again, in terms of, kind of making a purchase, store locator, these things have to happen really fast. So this is where the chatbot can come in. Chatbot can do it instantaneously for a lot of these. So it's going to be very powerful and should really help to develop that relationship with the brand. So just very quickly, these are our RCS forecasts. So I've got to explain a couple of these. So right now, this is obviously being pushed by GSMA. The GSMA is saying that in terms of monthly active users, MAUs, they're about 170 million devices globally. Now, our research, we like to dig deep and find things out. We put that figure at about 80 million, just under 80 million. Now, these figures, in theory, should be monthly active users. What we're going to start referring to them as kind of RCS devices in the marketplace. This is basically the reach. This doesn't actually mean that these are active devices and the consumer is using this device to communicate one way or another with a brand. So within 5 years, the reach should be about 3.2 billion. Monthly active users, we'll tell you that at another time. So in terms of the traffic, so early traffic is basically going to be based around per event, which is very much SMS-based model. But beyond that, the aim really is obviously to engage a consumer. It's a bit like fishing. So once you've snagged a consumer, you then want to open an engagement, an interaction where you have a session. So this year, next year, based on people's willingness to engage with RCS or over RCS with a brand, we reckon a session-based traffic will account for about 44% of all traffic. By 2023, we reckon that'll be about 77%. That's huge. That's basically taking a simple SMS and saying most SMS will now lead to a conversation. So potentially in terms of interaction, developing that relationship with a brand, RCS could be massive. Just to throw something else out there, ABC, Apple Business Communications, could be even bigger in terms of the appeal, because obviously Apple users are far more interactive, engaged, and more likely to make a purchase. So when ABC launches, at the moment it's only in trial in the US, it should come to the UK and other key markets in West Europe in the next month or two. That will be very interesting. So in terms of revenues, and again, this is where we really kind of need to set the mark quite clearly right now, because a lot of RCS forecasts are based on other analyst houses' existing SMS forecasts, which are starting at $60–70 billion. And on that, other companies, including the GSMA, are going around saying that RCS will be worth 30 billion by 2021. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. So, and again, looking at the operators, and right now only 55 operators out of 850, not including MVNOs, have launched RCS. And another 90 or so are going to launch in the next 12 months that we're aware of and have been made aware of, but this is reducing as certain complications happen. The spend is going to take a little longer to get there, as brands have to learn to trust what RCS is, and it's obviously going to start with the big brands who have the budget, and eventually it will come back and filter down through the smaller brands. But for the time being, we expect the market to be worth about $172 million next year. But assuming that it does grow and it does become as popular as we expect based on our research, and obviously most of this is based on our research, the market could be worth about $16 billion. And to put that into context, that is still considerably smaller than SMS. And all of that will be contained in our report on RCS, which is out later this month. But I'm not allowed to tell you that. They're going to go straight into the panel session, I'm guessing, Tim.
Yeah, we are. Okay. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you. Right, bit of musical chairs, because everyone move down one, and Andreas, come back and sit on the end, and I'll go up the podium. That makes sense? I think so.
Tim, do you need this?
Sorry. Sit here, Andreas, you're going to sit here. Yeah. So we haven't got long, and you probably all want to go and batter the booze. So before I ask any questions, anyone from the audience got a question so that we can make sure your questions are answered? No? Okay. So I should add we've got a couple of extra speakers on our panel. So Nick Daly at the far end is from Mgage, and Mohammed Fareed from Message Cloud. So thank you for joining in. So RCS, so Nick mentioned, in passing, Apple Business Communications and the impact that might have. Are we to assume from that Apple will not be embracing RCS? So who wants to talk about that? Nick,
Okay.
Why don't you start, and
Okay.
then we'll hear from the guys we haven't heard from yet.
Okay, they will embrace RCS.
They will.
They will.
Why do you say that?
I just know they will. I can't share, but they will, and it should be next year.
It's not a secret.
Okay.
We're gonna have it as a fallback to
Yeah, no, it will be a fallback.
Messenger. It's not a secret. Yeah.
But the
They're
question
gonna
is,
use it as a fallback to iMessenger.
yeah, but the question is whether they'll actually launch it to support Google. Obviously, Apple and Google aren't the best of friends.
Okay.
But in terms of reach from a browser perspective, in most markets, you need both.
So how will that work with ABC?
Well, it'll be the reverse. So ABC, if it cannot get through, will fall back onto RCS. If RCS is enabled on that device, and if it isn't, it'll then go back onto an SMS.
And will RCS be downloadable to legacy iPhones?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it will be backward compatible. So yeah, I think basically when you get your update, it should be on there once they release RCS.
Right. So Nick, how do you feel about RCS? Do you think, there's still plenty of people who think it will go the way of MMS or pay per talk, or push to talk, and all these other sort of operator initiatives. Do you believe in it?
Yeah, the appetite from all the different companies and organizations that we've been speaking to, they see it as the evolution of mobile messaging. I think we all believe in it. It's just about how quickly we can take it to market. It's unproven at the moment, but we've signed up a number of large UK retailers. We've got a massive presence in the US with retailers that have all signed up on the basis that it's only on Android at the moment, and it's only on certain networks. So if we have that appetite at this point, then the more devices we add, the more networks we add, it can only grow.
Mohammed, can you talk about the business models for RCS and how corporates feel about have those issues been resolved yet about whether you're paying per message or for bulk messaging and so on?
I think it's something that's still being looked into in more detail, but I think they will resolve it because of the scope and the opportunity available is immense.
Has anyone else got a comment on those business models, Nick?
Yeah, so pricing is based on various different elements contained within the message. So it will be, for a basic kind of message, you'll be the equivalent of about an SMS, I believe. Then on top of that, there will be a percentage uplift based on the content. So if it's a rich card, it will have an XX% increase. If it contains dynamic content or a video, it will cost X. And there's one other. So you could be basically looking at 4 different pricing models or 4 costs for the message, which could be a little complicated. So that's just for your per event. Then you've got your session based, and no one's got a clue about that one. No one knows how long the session will be, how long it should last, how many messages, how much it's going to cost. Because also within that, if you have got different pricing models per message, if all of a sudden you're doing a P2A, so the person is activating a session via RCS, and they are then requesting videos, that could be costs that haven't been allocated by a brand. So again, all of these things need to be kind of looked at and considered.
Who gets to make those decisions about how things will be costed? Andreas, who makes the decisions about how these sessions will be costed? To what extent is Google, driving it, or the operators?
I don't really have a clue. I'm really amazed that all of these companies that they're dealing with the retail messaging at the end, it's a retail messaging, because they're going to deal with us as consumers. They never ask the retail companies, what is the need of the retailer that he's going to pay the bill for all of us, So I really don't know who is taking this decision, and in which research they are depending on, in order to make this. But anyway, however, I would like to say something for RCS. There is a huge difficulty. The network operators, they have to be connected with all of them, and they're after 1.5 years, they're 50, 55?
55.
55, I mean, come on. They have some thousands.
10 years. Okay. It's 10 years to get that.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I think that it's much more out loud because it's Google, and we are like the dogs waiting in the door, to take the bone. Yeah, it's like this, because I don't think that it's serious, really. And I don't think that it's serious because they don't make a serious research about the end consumer and the retailer who is going to pay the whole bill. The consumer is going to pay the retailer in order to pay the wholesaler, in order to pay Vodafone, in order to pay Google. I mean, hello. Yeah.
So what do you think? So you don't have any confidence that it's going to get rolled out among the operators?
What do I think?
Yeah.
About how's it going?
Do you think operators will adopt it eventually?
Well, in fact, I think that the only one reason that RCS decided to put the mobile operators, I found out because we're talking about it, it's just because the mobile operators are the biggest customers of the smartphones, okay, of the companies.
Right.
So this is what I believe. So they need to have the application inside. So I think that this is a problem for the society and the community in order to grow up. Yeah, I don't know, really.
Well, you need to read Nick's report and you'll find out. So given that RCS is a kind of obviously a response in a sense to OTT messaging, Mohammed, maybe I can ask you, do you think that OTT messaging will become a legitimate business messaging tool? At the moment, it's, there's experiments going on, and Nick's numbers suggested that it was quite low, the adoption, and also the consumer's perception of it as a business tool. Do you think that will change?
It's potentially possible. I think there is, again, scope for it, but time will tell, to be honest with you. But I do agree with Nick, personally. I think it may not.
And Nick, at the end, do we know much about WhatsApp's sort of activities in this space?
I think as of today, WhatsApp is how we communicate with our friends, how we communicate with our families. I think some businesses have tried to experiment using WhatsApp, but it just doesn't have the same response rate as a SMS, and I think SMS is for, you know, how you can communicate with your businesses, where you get your, you know, your delivery notifications, your doctor's appointments. They all go to your SMS. They started coming into your WhatsApp and infiltrating with your families and your friends. I just don't think it would work as well as SMS for that function.
And what about the long-term future of SMS? How much longer has SMS got, given its ubiquity and its simplicity?
Well, based on what Nick just said, 10 years until we have all of the networks signed up, until all the devices. I mean, I'm sure there'll always be a place for SMS as it's the fallback for RCS, but it just depends. It's a difficult question to answer.
And what about you, Mohammed? How do you feel about SMS's prospects?
I love SMS, but as Nick again said, I think because it can be used as a fallback, I don't think it's gonna reduce potentially, but I think there'll always be a place for it in some capacity.
Cool. All right. Well, look, it's been a long day. It's getting quieter and quieter because everyone else is getting battered out there, and we're in here. So there's been a lot of information covered just now. So I thank you for all our speakers. Thank you for attending. Enjoy this evening. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks very much.